Thank you for joining us today for We the World. Welcome to We Show. My name's Robert Levine. I'm our host for today, and I'm the editor of WE's Trends in Global Grassroots Organizing. So I'm here serving as host in the absence of Rick, who we hope to see very, very soon. This is a very special episode of the Welcome to We Show. The month of March, in the month of March, we celebrate the International Women's Day, which is actually today, a critical day celebrating the legacy and the work being done by the individuals who are more than 50% of the worldwide population. We're all familiar with the legacy of oppression of women. We the world, as well as millions of people across the planet, are changing that and are turning it around. And our partners are working very diligently towards that goal. And of course, we have an amazing array of women on our show tonight that we'll be introducing. It's also the start of Earth Month, which culminates in Earth Day in April, and we'll be speaking about that as well. So I'd like to have us start off today by recognizing what is going on right now in Europe, where there's currently war in Eastern Europe with the Russian invasion of the Ukraine. Of course, war, among the many devastating consequences of war, is the effect that it has on women, as well as on all people, and the effect it has on the environment, in the use of, in the contribution to global warming, and the destruction of the environment of the area where the war is currently raging, and its impact on the entire planet. So to begin today's show, we'd like to share a video courtesy of our partner, May Peace Prevail on Earth.
Friends, actually it's my first time presenting here. It's a huge event, so I'm a little nervous, but I will try to do my best. Actually, I would like to start with a quote that our president Volodymyr Zelensky said when he was making a speech for European Union Parliament, and he said, "Life will win over death, and light will win over darkness." Can you imagine that these words are so powerful and they're so meaningful right now? Actually, I've prepared a speech, but today I want to say from my heart. I want to say that I'm so proud to be Ukrainian right now. I'm so proud to be one of the strongest nations in the world, and actually to fight for our freedom and for peace for all of us. And actually, in my table, I have this tiny candle. I hope you can see it. It's a tiny candle from the main church in Kiev. I bought it when I was last time in Ukraine. It was in February. And I bought some candles from our main church. It's called Sofia Kievska. And I was hoping, I bought them because they smell really nice. And now every night I light this candle and pray for my family who stay in Ukraine, because I'm in Poland now, and I pray for them every night. I pray for our brave soldiers who defend my country, and I pray for all the world to make peace prevail in my country. And I'm so happy that we have a lot of support from our friends all over the world And in Poland, all my friends asking me, how am I doing? How my friends, how my family in Ukraine? And they asking this question every day when the war starts. So I feel your support. I feel all the world support, and this helped me and my friends, my family in Ukraine stay strong and fight for our freedom and for our peace. And now, my dear friends, I would like you to watch a small video that we made. It's about Ukraine and the peace, I guess. Okay, I hope you will see it.
Слава Україні!
And for the end, I want to say that now everyone is speaking the same language, the language of peace. Everyone is wearing the same color, the color of our country, the blue and yellow. Our flags is everywhere, and I'm so proud to be Ukrainian right now. Thank you, everyone.
The focus of that video, the focus on peace and the worldwide support that is being given right now to the people of the Ukraine is very inspiring. And we thank our friends at May Peace Prevail for sharing that video. Though our attention is right now on the Ukraine, there is war raging across the globe. Wars going on in not only Europe, but in Africa, Asia, in Latin America, as well as even in our own country, in that we often wage war against our own people in the form of the militarization of our police forces. So that's why I'm very proud to announce our next guest. So we're very proud of our magazine, Trends, which I'm once again proud to be the editor-in-chief. Every Welcome to We show, we want to highlight our authors. And for today's show, we want to highlight Terry Angel. Terry is our peace campaign coordinator, as well as a happiness coach who assists people in finding the joy and the contentment in their lives. Terry has an article in the upcoming issue of Trends, but she also wrote an article for one of our earlier issues, where she shared the work she's doing towards spreading peace throughout our planet. Terry, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you, Robert. It is an honor to be here today with you and with everyone that's present, all the panelists. I see beautiful, familiar faces. Thank you for being here. And anyone who may be hearing this message, what a great time to focus on peace. Many times we look at the happenings in the world, Robert, as you were saying, there's war everywhere. We can pick one, pick a place, and we can focus on destruction. We can focus on lives being disrupted. And we can also have the choice to focus on, what can I do? What can I do? And many years ago, I remember asking that very question. I was very upset about happenings in the world and things going the way they were. And I just kind of spoke out loud to God, anybody that would listen, what can I do? I'm just one person. What does it matter if I get involved? What does it matter what I say, what I speak about? And it was made very clear to me that it does matter what each one of us thinks, what we say out loud, what we say to ourselves, what message we give with our lives. I've dedicated my life to peace, and I've dedicated every moment of my life to peace. When I think about war and destruction and disruption, I want you all to think about that, about the disruption that happens with war. It's not just a land being bombed or, buildings blown up or whatever is involved in it. It's a disruption, a total disruption of life as we know it in that very place where the war is happening. So what we can do as individuals is imagine, put yourself in that place, put yourself in those shoes of those people who no longer are able to have status quo of how their life was going. Maybe they had to flee and take what little belongings they could carry with them. That's the case in a lot of these places where there is war. So we can have compassion. We can put ourselves in their shoes and say, okay, now I know what I can do. I can pray. I can lift the energy. I can focus on wanting peace there instead of all that disruption. Whatever energy we put forth from our own self, that goes into the collective soup of all that is. So wherever there is that disruption, if we're counterbalancing that with our energy of peace and harmony, then it raises the vibration. If we only focus on the disruption, if we only focus on what's happening with the events, then we're adding to the negativity. We're pulling that energy down. So I encourage everybody, yes, be aware of what's happening in our world. We never want to bury our head in the sand and say, oh, it's just all sunshine and lollipops, because it's not. Because the nature of living on this planet is that there's going to be interactions, and some of those interactions are not going to be pretty. So as we are aware of where we can focus our energy, send the love in your heart, send it forth, and just let that be what comes from you to help with bringing more peace into the world. The other thing that I was thinking about is those words that the president of the Ukraine spoke. And there were two words that popped out. The others I almost just tuned out, but there was life and light. So if we think about the life, that's what we're looking at. The lives that are involved right now in conflict there and in the other places, Robert, that you mentioned, and especially here in our own country. Also, there is so much conflict going on. So think of the life that's going on, not the event. I encourage everybody to do this, to take your focus off of the actual fighting, the actual event. Focus on the life that's involved and lift that up. And then bring in the light. We have the power to do that. We have the power to uplift the energy, because everything that we do impacts in the world. And I want my impact to be one that's positive. I want it to be something where I can look at somebody and say, I truly love you, and mean that from the heart. So that's my challenge to all of us. Pick somebody. It doesn't matter who it is, because like I said, there's conflict everywhere, worldwide. So just pick somebody and reach out to them and just say those words. I love you. And if you're not comfortable saying those words, look at that and ask yourself, do I love me? Can I say I love myself? Because it has to start inside of here. And then you can share it out. And when you start sharing that message of love out into the world, you're going to see that your attitude, your perspectives, everything about you changes, because you've changed on the inside. So that's my challenge to us all, is let's make this a more peaceful world by starting where we are, on the very spot that we're at. I'd like to close by reading something. And this was written, just a moment, this was written in 1911 at the Paris talks. And it was spoken actually by Abdul Baha. And I want to leave you all with this message, and please just take it to heart. If it resonates, great. If it doesn't, then just move on. I charge you all that each one of you concentrate on the thoughts of your heart, on love and unity. When a thought of war comes, oppose it by a stronger thought of peace. A thought of hatred must be destroyed by a more powerful thought of love. Thoughts of war being destruction to all harmony, well-being, restfulness, and content. And I think I read that last line wrong, so I'm going to read it. Thoughts of war bring destruction to all harmony, well-being, restfulness, and content. Thank you, Robert, for having me here today, and blessings to everyone that's here.
If I could I would just love to get your input on something that I think is very important for people to realize. Even in the use of the language we use every day, we have opportunities to convey feelings of war and feelings of peace. I'm thinking when people say, I've killed it, even the statement, I've killed 2 birds with 1 stone, that just by using that kind of language, we're evoking war. So we can make a choice, though, instead of using those terms, to find words that instead convey peace.
Oh, you are so right on. The way we speak, the words we choose to use, there's so much that we say every day that we don't even think of how that sounds to other people and how they take those words. Words can be taken out of context from how we really mean them. And just with the example that you gave, it means, oh, wow, I did really great, but we're not saying it that way. We're saying it in a negative term. So yeah, looking at how we talk to people, Robert, I'm traveling around the country. I have met so many amazing people along my way, and everybody that I talk to, and I say, I'm on this journey, I'm bringing in peace to the land and asking for people to get involved in how they can bring more peace to the land. Everybody that I talk to give me the same message. Please continue. Please keep doing this. It is so needed in our world. And yes, as I educate people on what they can do and how they can be more peaceful in their life, that's one of the things that I try to bring out is, how are you speaking? How are you speaking to yourself? What are the words you are saying? And so many times we use negativity when we're talking about ourselves. Have you ever said, I'm so stupid, and it's something that you just did that, wasn't like an intentional thing. And it was something maybe you did not knowing or having all the facts. So even changing little things like that, not calling yourself names that are going to be derogatory or bring your energy down, and just paying attention to the speech that you do use when you're talking to other people. And that's been so in front of me as I've spoke with people over the last year and a half, that the message that I want to give is one that's positive. So if we can look at what are we saying and how are we saying it? That's the other thing too, Robert. We can say, I love you, but if the feeling is not there, that person we're saying it to is not going to receive the love. So always speak with your passion. Always speak from your heart and speak authentically. If you want to say something, say it. And if you are not in agreement with those words, then leave it until you can find how you really feel about it inside. So yeah, this is beautiful. Thank you for bringing that up, because I think that's so important for us to keep in our mind and to focus on peace and not focus on war. So what we focus on expands. So if we're running around talking to people and every word out of our mouth is, oh, the war, the war, the war, what do we hear? And what's being focused on and expanded is that. Let's focus more on, oh, I see peace coming, or I envision peace in this situation, and see everyone that's involved in all of those conflicts. And we're not talking just one, all the conflicts going on. See every person involved in their innocent being. See them as their true self, not somebody that's full of hatred or greed or whatever brings on the conflict, but go back to their true, authentic being and love that. And then that's what will start being expanded and come forth. And I fully believe that. I don't think that's a Pollyanna thought. I have seen it so many times where people turn around under the energy of love and change from there. We can't change anybody. We can't control anybody, but we can influence people with our words and our actions.
Great. Thank you so much, Terry. Thank you so much for sharing your words and your presence with us this evening.
Thank you,
It
Robert.
is much. And this is a perfect lead into our next guest, Karen Palmer, who is leading a kindness revolution. She's the founder of Echo Angel Enterprises, as well as the president. She is also our We campaign coordinator on women and their allies. And there's a lot of exciting work that is currently going on those issues, women that are taking the lead on so many issues, on peace, on social justice, on the environment. Karen, if you'd like to speak about the wonderful work and the wonderful organizations that We the World is partnering with.
Yeah, it's such an honor to be here, and it's such a privilege. And I swear I'm so humbled to speak after Terry on these beautiful, beautiful comments that she has just spoken about. It's so important right now that we, as women, as allies, as families, as human beings on the planet, really see one another and really understand the presence of our being in this experience we are all beautiful beings of love and light, just having a human challenge right now. If we can just remember that when we see others that we see outside of ourselves, and we aren't agreeing with them on different situations, or we have a different opinion, search inside yourself in that moment. Is there a war going on inside of me right now? And that's worry, anxiety, and regret. War. Do we have worry, anxiety, and regret happening in our own heart? And so I really believe that many of our partners, I'm so honored to feature these amazing women and allies. One of our amazing allies was what you saw there with our beautiful May Peace Prevail on Earth. And my dear, dear friend and ally for James Twyman, who is the founder of World Peace Pulse, went to Poland at the border and created a beautiful One Love synchronized meditation and prayer vigil that went across the entire planet. We had millions of people all at the same time on March 5th. And this was all done with May Peace Prevail on Earth. Another one of our partners, and unify.org. This is what I'm talking about, what women and allies, when we come together, our collaboration skills are beyond anything that we could ever do alone. It's ridiculous to think that we have, in any way, shape, or form, are able to do anything alone. We need each other. And if one thing this pandemic and this bringing this awareness to what's happening in the Ukraine and the oppression of our world has shown me, is that we need each other more than ever. When I started the Global Kindness Revolution in 2014 and started seeing kindness going viral, watching beautiful, beautiful beings coming together and really just focusing all their attention on how can they be kind. And our partners that have come into We the World, we've expanded so much. We have, the United Nations Women. That's a powerful, powerful thing. The United Nations Foundation supporting women and girls. Did you know that every year about 12 million girls have to be married before they're 18 years old? That this makes them less likely to remain in school and more vulnerable to sexual assault? It isn't enough that we talk about equality. It's really important that we talk about acceptance of one another in a way that we build each other up and amplify the good that other organizations are doing. There's so much. This is another one of our wonderful groups and families that are part of our partnership here is the Women Voice. This beautiful, her voice is being heard all across the United States and across the planet. And this is another thing that's happening with the United Nations, is to protect girls and women in these humanitarian agencies, to help bring these agencies to have the strength to be able to help in all the different war-torn countries. It's so important that we continue to have these conversations and that we continue to bring each other up and amplify each other. And that's what we do every month. And I'd love to invite everyone, everyone's invited. Everyone is welcome. I call this the web of love, the web of one, where everyone belongs. So every month we have a Women, Allies, and Families networking party, and we do online where everyone's invited. And what we do is everybody has an opportunity to share what is exciting them in their experience right now. What can we do together that we cannot do on our own? And that's the important question that we answer every month. So that's really what's happening in our corner. And like I said, it's just a wonderful time to be a human being. It's just a wonderful time to see that women are being treated with respect and honor and dignity, because really that's all we want. So all we want is to be treated with respect and dignity. I am so excited about another wonderful partner of ours that we have, the Angel Lady movie that's coming out. It's an incredible movie, and it's about an ex-con single mom and the exploits of a mysterious glitch in her television. But her past threatens to derail the Angel Lady's life with her new son. This is a feel-good, family-friendly crossover movie. Angel Lady offers a relevant message of inclusiveness and hope. And this isn't, as the Americans are wrestling with issues of immigration that divide our country, Angel Lady offers a positive, intimate view of the culture that is foreign to so many of us. We open up a channel of we begin to start with this movie. We have an opportunity to speak about an invisible society, women that are transferring from prison to re-enter into society. Now, this is a powerful thing that We the World has gotten involved with. This movie is going to be life-changing. It's going to change so many lives. And we are partners. These are our partners. So like I said, every month, I encourage everyone to join us and let's play together in the field of infinite possibilities. That's what We the World is to me. You know, We the World is infinite possibilities. And when we start to really think about what we can do together, it's incredible. It's incredible. And Robert, thank you so much for hosting this show, and thank you for, being able to share this wonderful day together. What an incredible and what a beautiful thing that women history is now a Women's History Month, not just a day, it's Women History Month. And I think that it was wonderful how that has evolved. And I think that I hope that for Earth Month coming up that you're going to be speaking with next, I hope that evolves to become something that in society we can focus all of our attention on Earth Month. So I think that that's going to be an exciting conversation that you'll have next.
Thank you, Karen. We so appreciate your coming on and sharing. When will Angel Lady be available for folks to view? Is it currently available?
You can go, actually, what's so cool about Angel Lady is you can go to the link angelladymovie.com. And if you're interested in helping to feature this in your own community, you can be a host. And so you can, and if you have a nonprofit organization, which I do, I have a nonprofit organization, and you can help raise money for your nonprofit organization, and they'll split the profits with you on the showing of the movie when the movie comes out. And every month we're going to be doing, I'm helping with the PR on that, and every month we're going to be doing a invitation to angel hosts. Anyone who wants to be an angel host, everyone's welcome who wants to share the movie. So if you go to that link angelladymovie.com, you can read all about what we're doing and what we're doing in the women's prisons, also what we're going to be doing with we have a book club that's coming out that's going to be, I think Terry's going to be helping us with that also. I have an amazing book from a woman who was in women's prison. It's called The Slumber Party from Hell. Quite the book, quite the story, quite the amazing woman. She was on a TED Talk also, and they have become partners, all for Welcome to We. This is the Welcome to We world. Yay.
Thank you so much for sharing all of this. It is really appreciated, especially on International Women's Day. This is great. And of course, women have been major leaders in the environmental movement. And we're happy to have one of those women as part of We the World. So I'd like to introduce Sue Blythe, who is our coordinator on the environment. She's also the Climate Collaboratory Project Coordinator. So Sue, if you could please share with us the wonderful work We is doing and that you are helping to coordinate.
Thank you, Robert. It's really a wonderful time to be alive. Can you believe that in the midst of all the challenges that we're facing as a human family, we are on the road, and in our storytelling, we have a collaborative storytelling adventure, and we say we're on the road to 2030, 2050, and beyond. And what we're doing is holding that vision. Terry, you mentioned the quote from Abdu'l-Baha, and I had to laugh because I had just written that down. I wanted to share that when a thought of war comes, oppose it with a stronger thought of peace. And people have been praying for peace for all these thousands of years, and envisioning what it would be like, and writing poems about it, and waiting and wishing and hoping that it would come. And the story that I'm telling is we're on our way there, that this is a time of miracles that people have been praying for thousands of years. And it's just a matter of opening ourselves up to this we consciousness, that we are one human family and one earth community with a common destiny. And so we're trying to get people involved in that story. And we're walking it on the road to 2030, 2050, and beyond. And so I'm going to take you into the future, my imaginary future. And there we were, the elders and the youth, sitting around the evening campfire. It was the year 2050. Born in a cloud, our indigenous wisdom keeper said, "Welcome, welcome, grandchildren of all ages, to the Climate Story Circle. Curious minds wonder about next steps on the road to a world that works for all. The sages bring their own lived experience that they've gleaned on the road so far. The young people are learning to ask questions to tap into the wisdom of the ages as experienced by the elders." So, who wants to begin? I was pleased to see my great-granddaughter, Willow, speak up. This year, we're celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Earth Charter. You have stories of seed ideas planted long ago at the beginning of the 20th century. Those were the dreams and visions that brought us to this moment in human history. What was it like in the early days before you knew how things would turn out? Born in a Cloud smiled. "Listen, my children, and you will hear the story of the Earth Charter's first 50 years. The sages of the ages will share a story of their seed ideas that are still growing from vision to reality." Willow looked straight at me, and I knew the story that I wanted to tell. "I remember when the Earth Charter was launched at the turn of the century on June 29th in the year 2000. It was a statement of values and principles for a thriving Earth. A friend called it the Magna Carta for the Anthropocene. I had been so inspired by the vision and poetic language that I asked friends to help create a musical play. And 3 of us wrote songs and a story, and the children who presented the play used the Earth Charter principles to solve problems and create peace. Not long after that, I became the Reduce, Reuse, Recycle lady for Alachua County, Florida. My first assignment was to bring 4th graders from several counties to the museum for EarthQuest. The challenge begins. The children had to walk through the gaping mouth of Toxicus, the garbage monster, and they became players in a life-size video game, saving energy and resources at different activity stations. That got my creative juices flowing. I told my supervisor that I wanted to make a traveling museum exhibit based on the Earth Charter. Well, that seed idea grew slowly over the years. In 2011, I invited a group of middle schoolers into a collaborative storytelling adventure. Week by week for 8 months, they learned about the Earth Charter, created their own action plans, and carried them out. After their Future Flash show for families and friends, I asked them to evaluate the program. They said it was good, but it was way too slow. Could I make it into a game? You know, they're all about games, they said. Well, that seed idea grew in me until 2014 when I took the Future Flash Climate Challenge to 6th graders at a different school. We called it the Future Flash Making the Game Club because we were really inventing something new. Earthman Lanny Smith talked to the class on video chat long before Zoom came into being. The kids created the Climate Crisis Jeopardy game and other ways to earn points for their school, their city, their country, and the world. We had the vision of a global game to change climate change, but it wasn't time for it to blossom just yet. I talked with lots of people about the game, and one day a man said, this sounded like a game that the whole world needs to play. So I started thinking about what it would take to make a play what it would take to play with millions of people, and decided we needed a game show. Slowly, the idea grew. more and more people could see the possibility and offered their help. With the Florida Coalition for Peace and Justice and the Florida Interfaith Climate Actions Network, we developed the Florida Earth Charter Initiative. The Compassion Games hosted an online collaboratory to help people cooperate, collaborate, and co-create solutions for a world that works for all. In 2019, we established the Climate Collaboratory as a pilot project of We the World and the University of Florida Extension. In 2019 and 20, the city of Gainesville and Alachua County, Florida, declared a climate emergency, and we developed the community-wide climate conversation to action program to meet that challenge. By the time we got to Earth Day 2022, we performed Climate Collaboratory, the musical, with the World House Game Show. Willow laughed, and we all know the rest of that story, she said. But we don't know. We're not there yet. That's for Earth Day 2022, a month from now. And we are in the process of getting that musical play written and acting out the scenes and getting ready for the show. And so we have to wait and see how it turns out. And then we'll continue our story on the road to 2030, 2050, and beyond.
Thank you, Sue. It's so important now more than ever that we hold an optimistic view of the future. Because if we don't believe it, we can't make it happen. And so thank you for creating that optimism, for helping us to shape a vision of a loving, sustainable future. So the work you're doing is so vital, and thank you for sharing it with us.
Thank you. And it's a real joy to find the many, many people like each of you that is helping to create that world that we all want to see.
Great, thank you. So I want to thank all three of you for being with us this evening. I also want to thank Angel Fullerton, who is not on screen with us, who is behind the scene. Angel makes all things possible. She makes everything we do easy because we know she's there and we know we can rely on her. So thank you, Angel. I'll give you a bit of a shout out. I also want to invite everyone to come on to our website, we.net. We're also currently producing the next issue of Trends magazine, of which all three of the people that are our guests today are a contributor. And of course, Angel is helping us to produce it, the artwork, the layout. And again, I'm proud to be the editor. And you can find Trends at trends.we.net. So before we say goodnight, is there anything anyone else would like to share? Okay, then I guess we're good. Thank you. It was wonderful seeing you. I feel honored sharing this time with you. And I look forward to doing that again. Have a good night, everybody.